Hello and welcome to English for You. I'm Seb.
I'm Nikki. So today we're going to talk about a gallery, a place. And
exactly.
It's called Treasure Hill.
Yes, we're going to be talking about Treasure Hill. Now, I actually went up to Treasure Hill last weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to check out some of the galleries. That word you just used, gallery.
Yeah.
That's a small art museum or a place with just art by maybe one or two artists where you can go see some paintings or photography, pictures.
Are there like statues?
This one had very small statues, so we would actually call them figurines. Now, figurine is kind of like a little model of a person. So this artist made little models of people out of sticks and acorns, actually. So things from nature.
Ooh.
So that is one of the many different things that you can see at Treasure Hill. But we won't talk about it too much. We've still got to get into today's article. So, shall we get started?
Yes.
All right.
Reading.
Treasure Hill, Taipei's secret artist village. Taipei has a lot of great art museums, such as Taipei Fine Arts Museum and the Museum of Contemporary Art. But there's one place where everything you see is part of the exhibition. You'll find beautiful works all around you in Treasure Hill Artist Village. It's Taipei's most creative neighborhood. Treasure Hill is in the busy Dongzheng district, but it feels like a countryside village. It takes its name from a large temple there. Treasure Hill was developed by former soldiers in the 1960s. Later, the government wanted to knock it down, but locals protested and stopped this. These days, Treasure Hill is known for its many small studios. It was reopened as an artist village in 2010. It has a special program for artists from all over the world. They can come and live there while they work on projects. Many of them say the village's open layout has helped them improve how they share their work with the world.
Okay, so today's article begins. Taipei has a lot of great art museums, such as Taipei Fine Arts Museum and the Museum of Contemporary Art. Okay, so we saw that phrase such as here. We use such as when we are about to give an example. So many different types of fruit are on sale at the market, such as apples, bananas, and melons. Here, apples, bananas, and melons are examples of the fruit you can buy. Similarly, Taipei Fine Arts Museum and the Museum of Contemporary Art are both examples of Taipei's great museums. What's your favorite museum in Taipei, Nikki?
I think it's the fine arts one.
Okay. What do you like most about it?
Because it always changed like different subjects and related to like environment issues and like global issues.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I
awesome.
think it's like worth visiting. 课文一开头就介绍了台北的美术馆，像是台北市立美术馆和台北当代艺术馆。这边的 such as 就是要点出例子，比如说的意思。
We can also use the adverb like in the same way. So just as we saw such as, we could say, James wants to go somewhere hot on vacation, like Egypt, Malaysia, or Mexico. We could also say such as Egypt, Malaysia, or Mexico.
And the article says, but there's one place where everything you see is part of the exhibition. 这边的 where 是用来修饰地点的关系副词，这边是把两句话给连接起来，一句是 but there's one place， 那后面这句原本的意思是 everything you see at the place is part of the exhibition， 那用 where 连起来就会是课文里面我们看到的这句。
Exactly. But what is an exhibition? Exhibition is a noun, and it's an event when a collection of different objects, works of art, or products are put on display. Often, exhibitions happen at museums, like in our example sentence. There is a great exhibition on dinosaurs at the Natural History Museum.
Exhibition 是名词，那它通常是和艺术相关的展览或者是展览会，像是最常见的我们在台北的华山或者是松烟，常常会看到不定期有一些不同的展览，那些就是 exhibitions。那它的动词呢会是 exhibit， 指的就是展览或者是展示 to show something publicly。Exactly.
So what does this tell us about the article? Well, everything in Treasure Hill is part of the exhibition, so that means that everything in the neighborhood must be its own work of art. In each of the galleries, you'll be able to see many different exhibits. An exhibit, that's also a noun and a verb, is just like an exhibition, only a little bit smaller.Museums often have temporary or short-term exhibits on special subjects in just one room, as well as much larger exhibitions that are always there and take up multiple rooms. Nikki, you said that you've been to Taipei Fine Arts Museum. Did you go to any interesting exhibitions there recently?
Recently I've been to one in Huashan.Oh,
okay,
and,
cool.
Yeah, it's about sound, music, and structure all mixed together and challenges your sensory.
Oh, wow. It sounds like some very cool modern art then, right? Okay, awesome. Okay, so you should definitely check out the art at Treasure Hill Artist Village then, because it sounds amazing. The article says, you'll find beautiful works all around you in Treasure Hill Artist Village.
And it says it's Taipei's most creative neighborhood.Okay,
so it's a very creative neighborhood. It's a neighborhood with a lot of art, with maybe a lot of music, acting. Those are all creative things. But what is a neighborhood? A neighborhood is an area in a town or city, normally one where people live. Neighborhoods can be in the center of a city, like Shida in Taipei, or they can be far out on the edge of a city, like Linkou or Muzha.Now, we call the people who live in neighborhoods neighbors, especially the people who live very close by to you. Your next-door neighbors, in fact, are the people who live in the apartment or house next to yours. They're your 邻居. The example sentence for neighborhood that we have here is, you can tell this is a wealthy neighborhood because all the houses are very big and they have expensive cars in front of them.Neighborhood
是名词，指的就是地区或者是邻近的住宅区。For example, I live in 三重 which is said to be a bad neighborhood. 那 neighbor 指的就是邻居，就是住在你家附近的人，或者是楼上楼下都是你的 neighbors。例句说，你可以知道这是一个很富裕的地区，因为所有的房子都很大，而且还有很贵的车子停在前面。
Yes, wealthy neighborhoods tend to have very big houses, and poor neighborhoods tend to, well, they might have big houses, but they'll be in bad conditions, won't they? But that's not the kind of neighborhood that Treasure Hill is. The article says Treasure Hill is in the busy Zhongzheng district, but it feels like a countryside village. Okay, so the countryside, that's a noun, is an area outside the towns and cities. So if you go to Yangmingshan, Yilan, or Hualien counties, then you can go to the countryside. We could also say that you go to the country. Country can mean both 国家 or 乡下的地区. Here's an example sentence for countryside. Emma likes to go walking in the countryside on the weekends. Now, if Emma went walking in Yangmingshan, then we could also say that she went walking in a national park. That's a special part of the countryside that is very beautiful and is protected by the government, a 国家公园。
再来，课文告诉我们，这个 Treasure Hill 宝藏岩，它是坐落在台北的中正区，但是却让人感觉自己是身在一个乡村的村落。Countryside 是名词，指的就是乡下或者是郊外。It's the opposite of a city. 那 country 这边也是名词，通常用来指的是国家或者是乡村。For example, we listen to country music, 就是乡村音乐。像是早期 Taylor Swift 的歌都有点是这种 country music。
Yeah.
那例句说 Emma 喜欢在周末的时候到乡下去走走。And the article says it takes its name from a large temple there.Oh,
it takes its name from the temple? Then we could also say that Treasure Hill is named after the temple. Exactly. When something is named after another thing, it uses the same name as that thing. New York, for example, is named after York, which is a town in the UK. The next sentence in the article is, Treasure Hill was developed by former soldiers in the 1960s. Okay, so former is an adjective, and we use this to mean something that isn't something anymore. Confused? Don't worry. Let's look at the soldiers in the article. They are former soldiers, so they were soldiers in the past. But they aren't soldiers anymore. 他们退休了. So Treasure Hill was built to be a home for people who used to fight in the army. We can also call these people veterans, 老兵. Here's an example sentence for former. I just met my girlfriend's former boyfriend in the supermarket. It was really awkward.
In this case, we can also say an ex-boyfriend. Former 是形容词，用来表示前任的或者是过去的。For example, former coworkers, it means that you used to work with them, but not anymore. Former 还有另一个意思呢，是前者。比如说我问 Seb, What do you want for lunch today? Fried rice or pizza? 那他可能就可以说他 prefers the former， 意思就是他想要前者，那就是fried rice。那如果他想要后者的话，他就会说 the latter.
That's a good point. Former and latter we use normally in more formal situations. But if you want to talk about your friends, your former friends, or your former co-workers, or your former boyfriend, I think ex is a very good word to use.
And the article says, later, the government wanted to knock it down, but locals protested and stopped this.
Yes, the government wanted to knock it down. The government, that's a noun, is the organization that runs a country. So the Taiwanese government is the people and groups that run Taiwan's hospitals, schools, and make Taiwan's laws. The leader of the government is the president. So right now, the leader of the government, the president, is Tsai Ing-wen. And she is also the head, I believe, or she is a very important person in the DPP, that's the Minjindang. So that is a political party. And political parties are organizations that run the government. In many countries, people decide which party gets to be in charge by voting in elections. That's 选举. So in Taiwan, the two biggest political parties are the KMT, Kuomintang, and the DPP, the Minjindang. Here's an example sentence using a lot of those new political words. Ma Ying-jeou was the leader of Taiwan's government until 2016, when Tsai Ing-wen was elected and formed a new government.
So Ma Ying-jeou, we can say that he's a former president.
He's a former president, exactly.
Government 是名词，指的就是政府或者是在上位者，那就是那些做出立法或者是司法各种决策的人。那它的动词呢是 govern，指的就是统治或者是管理 to control the public business of a country. 那另外 Seb 老师还提到了 political parties， 指的就是政党，像是国民党、民进党或者是时代力量。课文说 The government wanted to knock it down， 这边指的就是这个政府呢，那时候是想要把宝藏岩给拆除的。Knock something down 就是拆除或者是拆毁建筑to destroy a building.Exactly.
So they wanted to knock it down, but this didn't happen. Why? Well, because local people protested. Now, protest is a verb, and when we protest, we publicly show that we are unhappy with something official. Normally, we do this to do with the government, often at protests, and that's because protest can be a verb and a noun. At protests, people walk in the street holding up signs and showing that they are angry about something, maybe shouting a slogan, such as during the Hong Kong protests in 2019. The people then were protesting the law that the government wanted to make.
Protest 这里是动词，指的是抗议或者是反对。那要注意它的名词呢，长得也是一模一样，但是它重音放在不一样的地方，是念 protest。通常我们如果想要反对某样东西，我们可以说 We protest against something. 那课文继续说 These days, Treasure Hill is known for its many small studios. These days 指的就是现今、今天。We can also use today or nowadays to point out the present time.Exactly.
So they protested the government knocking it down, and in the end, the government didn't knock it down. Instead, they found a way to make Treasure Hill new and interesting again. And the article says it was reopened as an artist village in 2010.
And it has a special program for artists from all over the world.
Yes, this is a really interesting program because the artists are allowed, the article says, they can come and live there while they work on projects. So that means they can live in the houses at Treasure Hill and make art.
所以说后来这个地方在2010年被重新开启了，而且来自世界各地的艺术家都会来这边住，而且并且从事他们的计划。Work on 指的就是你花一段时间在做某件事情。课文中提到的这些艺术相关的计划都是需要时间的，不太可能是你1-2天就完成什么作品，所以我们就会用 work on 来表示花一段时间从事某件事情。
Yes, they're working on projects though, and that's a job or a piece of work that you plan out and do over some time. If you've ever had to prepare something special for a science fair, then you've completed a project before. Projects can be much bigger things too, though. If the government wants to build a new airport, for example, then that's a project too. Our example sentence for project is, Emily spent all weekend working on her art project because it was due on Monday morning.
Project 是名词，指的是一个专案或是一个计划，像是学校老师可能会要求大家分组拍一部微电影啊，或者是到某个地方参观然后做访问，这些都可以是 project 的一种。那小至学校的作业，大至政府公家机关的标案，都是一种 project。Exactly.
One thing important to remember about the word project is that it should be pronounced project, not project. Project is a verb that means 放映. So if you work on a project, but you project an image onto a wall, okay? 把一个影片放映在墙上。
And the article says many of them say the village's open layout has helped them improve how they share their work with the world. Layout 是名词，在这边指的就是建筑物或者是都市的格局设计，the way that something is arranged. 那最后课文就说，这些来到这里的艺术家，他们都说宝藏岩的格局帮助改进他们向全世界分享他们作品的方式。
Well, that's all that we have time for in day 1 of our article. There's still a lot more for us to discover about Treasure Hill, and we're going to be exploring more tomorrow. But first, let's check out today's For You Chat question.
For You Chat.
So today's For You Chat question is, do you think you would like to live in an artist village? What would be special about the experience? What do you think, Seb?
I think I would like to live in an artist village, especially one like Treasure Hill, because, you know, Treasure Hill is a very peaceful place. It's very quiet, and it's like being in a tiny countryside village, but you're also close to the city. And I think another nice thing about it is there won't be too many distractions. You can just stay in your gallery and you can focus on your project.
And probably you'll be able to meet a lot of artists.
Yes, exactly. You can meet a lot of like-minded people. When you meet like-minded people, those are people who have similar ideas or similar worldviews to you. I think it can really broaden your horizons. Okay, well, I think that's all the time we have for our For You Chat question. We will be going back to Treasure Hill tomorrow to look at some of the specific things you can do and see there. So make sure you join us then. For English for You, I'm Seb.
I'm Nikki.
And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Vocabulary Review.
Exhibition. The artist was invited to have an exhibition at the local library to show her latest work. Neighborhood. The family moved to a different neighborhood because it was close to a good school. Countryside. Isaac left Taipei and went to live on a farm in the countryside. Former. Michael is a former school math teacher, so he knows a lot about that subject. Government. The new government promised to change laws to help create more jobs across the country. Project. The artist started a new project that aims to show the local village people through his paintings.
智慧小补帖
protest, layout.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net